We have to talk about what is going to happen what is happening when it comes to body temperature, what is happening about the anterior pituitary hormone, what is happening with the ovarian hormones, and we have to talk about the endometrial cycles. And then if you guys see, look at this. There's a follicles also I did. And here in the diagram here, this I drew as like, okay, this is a 28-day cycles, okay? And you guys remember this. You know, whenever if you want to find the ovulation period or the day, all you have to do is that, okay, you have to remember the monthly cycle, okay? If it's a 30 days, then all you have to do is subtract by 14. And that's going to give you 16, right? That's what it's going to give you. So that's what I have to do. Now, let's talk about, usually, you know, when it comes to ovary, okay, ovaries are not very sensitive to the temperature. If you want to produce sperm for a male, yes, they are, you know, your testes are very, very sensitive to the temperature. But luckily, women's ovaries are not very sensitive to the temperatures, okay? So, when this process happens, let's say this follicular genesis, right? This process of making follicles, right? Usually what happens is that, you know, the temperature there, okay, let me make it red. You know, usually like if it's working in, let's say 36 degrees Celsius, okay, or let's say 98 degrees Celsius, okay, usually it's going to be like that, okay? It's going to keep going up to this. But you know, what is going to happen is that around, like, you know, when you started doing LS surge, right? What is going to, this temperature will start going up, like basically like this, you know, and this period is going to be LS, this temperature will start rising up. Okay, this body temperature goes like this, and then after that, when it starts degenerating, it will fall back to normal. Okay, that's how the temperature works. Okay, during this phase, the temperature is going to increase. Okay, now, what else is happening here? Let's talk about this. Okay, look, what are we doing in the follicles here? First, when it comes to anterior pituitary hormone, which are FSH and LH, right? This first FSH is working on the cells, right? So obviously you guys know this FSH is gonna, in the process of follicular genesis, right? There's more FSH is releasing, right? So slowly what is gonna happen is that you're gonna see like this here. Let's just make it here. This anterior pituitary hormone. You're gonna see like FSH going like this, okay? And then remember, it's gonna have a little rise. Remember, FSH is a little rise, but remember, the estrogen level went up and then it suppressed the FSH. So you see a little falling down like this, okay? That's what you see. Then suddenly, around, say, 13 or 14, what is going to happen? Suddenly, this, you know, they will start producing more level of estrogens. More level of FSH, okay? And what is going to happen here is that you start seeing a rise like this, okay? Rise like this. And then after that, what is going to happen? When you see the rise like this, FSH, and then FSH, after this, the FSH will start falling down like this. And it's going to go, look, something like this. That's what is going to happen, look. So basically, during these cycles, okay? Now, the same thing with here. Okay, this is the menses period. Now, what about, let's say, if we talk about LH, what is LH happening? Remember, LH here, there's not much role of LH in this phase of time, right? That's why that is going to be lower than FSH. It's going to go like this, okay? And then remember, suddenly what is going to happen? These cells, theca internal cells, okay, they receive LH hormones and they're going to start making male hormones, and those male androgens can go to diffuse through this, you know, these granulosa cells, and then they're going to make more what? Estrogen. So, right, that's what's going to happen. So, because of that, there's more layers of cells, so that means there's a more release of LH, right? That's happening. So basically, this LH is going like this, going upward, right? And suddenly, there's a high level of LH get releases, okay? FSH also gets releases, but you know, whenever there's this estrogen level becomes too high, it gives a positive stimulus, okay? And then, you know, there's going to be like very, very like dramatically high level of, what is this? Dramatically high level of FSH you see. LH you see. And then after the LH will start falling down like this, and then it will come like that. Okay? So what is this? So we'll just write it down here, okay? So this one, guys, here, alright? This is this right here, this is going to be my FSH, okay? And this guy right here, this is my LH, okay? LH hormone. But remember, what is this called? This is happening in the day 14th for our case, okay? And this is called LH surge, okay? That is really, really important. Now we talk about what is happening when it comes about, let's say, when it comes about estrogen, okay? and let's say progesterone, what is happening in those two phases? That's what we'll discuss about. Look, in the ovaries up to here, right? Look, because they're ovarian hormones, right? In the ovaries, they're producing this estrogen, right? Look, in this phase, estrogen level is what? In here, in the early phase, the estrogens are really not producing, right? But as this coming down up here, look, we'll make this right here. As this coming down, it's going to go up like this, okay? It's going to go up like this, right? That's what is happening here. Look, more level, high level estrogen going down. And then, look, suddenly what is going to happen is that it started falling down like this. It started falling down like that. Really, seriously, it's like it started falling down like this, okay? Estrogen level. Because when they get, look, collapsed, okay, estrogen levels start falling down, okay? And what is going to happen is that this coprous luteum will come. And this coprous luteum is the one that's going to produce but progesterone and also estrogen. So now you see the level of estrogen going upward like this. And then after that, this degeneration phase happens usually. Look, if I say the 24th day, okay, when the degeneration phase happens, usually degeneration phase happens, let's say if the 28-day cycle, right, and then let's say fertilization doesn't occur, then usually you can see this, okay, 14 days ovulation day, that means let's add 10 days, so that will become 24 days, so we can simply say like right down here, okay, started falling down, okay, and this is what is called estrogen right here, okay, this is my estrogen, or you can even say this is a estradiol, okay, you can also say that, because that is more potent, okay? Now, what about the progesterone here? Look, in this time, progesterone is not there, right, guys? Like, progesterone is not there, right? It's not there at all. But then remember, after this LH, because of the LH surge, okay, and collapse of this, it formed the coprous luteum. And then, look, this LH hormone is also going to work here, okay? Influence these cells, and these cells are after that, okay, started producing progesterone, but lots of progesterone. So then basically what is going to happen, you see a high rise of like this, okay, progesterone. And then remember, it's going to go like this, look, it's going to go like this, and then it started falling down, like after 24 days, like this. And it's going to come like this, okay? Look, and what is this? This is called my progesterone, right? This is what is, so this is how your diagram usually looks like, okay? When it comes to estrogens and progesterone, when it comes to ovarian hormones, okay? Now, look, what are other things happening down here? Look, this is my endometrium, right? Look, in the follicular phases, what is going to happen? Whenever this estrogen level is going up, this estrogen comes here, right guys? And when the estrogen comes to the endometrium, what is that? It does proliferations of this endometrium. So when it does proliferations of this endometrium, okay, we call this, that's what we call them sometimes, we call this phase right here, we call them a proliferative phase when it comes to estrogen, okay? And then this phase right here, we call them a secretory phase because they are what? Secreting hormones, right? So we can call this phase right here after we call secretory phase too, okay? Now, look, estrogen comes here and then it does proliferation, right? That's why you see it's going up, this proliferating these cells, okay? That's what you see is going upward. That's what you get to see, right? Now, then what is going to happen? After that, later, progesterone will come and then progesterone will also work on this endometrium, okay? These cells. And then it's going to what? It's going to dilate blood vessels. It's going to also start making more like angiogenesis, meaning making more new blood vessels. And these blood vessels are spiral, right? That's what it's going to make. So basically they're going to make this area very, very thick. That's what they're going to make. So that's what, when it comes to progesterone, under the influence of progesterone, these guys are become what? They're going to become thick, like hypertrophy, okay? Blood vessels are going to dilate. They're going to be new, like lots of new endocrine, this uterine glands are going to be there, okay? And they're going to start secreting a lot more of those glycoprotein type of materials down here, okay? That's what is going to happen in this time, okay? And that's going to continue to happen. That's why you see, look at this, like, the more layers of cells, like more bigger, and this is because the hypertrophy is occurring all these phases, okay? And this is going to keep continuing until, let's say, like day 24 or 25, okay? And then after that, if they do not receive, if the fertilization doesn't occur, and if these guys do not receive the signals from the human chorionic gonadotropin hormones, then after what is going to happen? These guys will, the progesterone will be no longer be produced. And when the progesterone is no longer produced, what is going to happen? Basically, these guys would not able to work. So the result is that, this stratum functionalis, those cells, what is going to happen? They will become ischemic, and that there will be no supply of oxygens, no supply of nutrients, and in that, what is going to happen is that they become avasculars, and then they start what? Shedding off, What is the shedding off basically means? Meaning the sloughing off of this stratum functionalis. Guys, always remember that the stratum basalis is a permanent, It will never shed off. It's always, or slough off. It's always this stratum functionalis is the one that's going to set off if the fertilization does not occur, So, look at this, what is going to happen. After that, start degenerating, right? That's what is going to happen. Start degenerating. And then look, you don't really see, bleeding, but you see menstrual menses, after this, 28 days. That's what you get to see. I'm just making this as it's coming down right here, So, this is just like a falling down, and this is what I, as a menses here. So look, this is shedding off all this, And whenever the shedding off, the blood is coming out, right? That's what is happening. Now, progesterone does also one more thing. The progesterone can comes onto the cervix, and it can make this, because cervix is producing what? The cervix is producing mucus, right? So, what it does in the cervix, it makes thick, or simply you can say it makes this cervical plug. That's what it does, So when there's cervical plug, nothing can actually go to the uterus, That's what it does. And look, if you see right here, this is a follicular phases. You see, these are primordial follicles that get converted into primary follicles, And then the primary follicles get converted into, let's say, secondary follicles, and then the Graafian follicles, and the Graafian follicles get ruptured and become, look at this, corpus luteum, And then this is a corona radiata, and then look at this. This is a ruptured, let's say, this is a ruptured, the Graafian follicles. That's how it looks, And this is what your corpus luteum looks like, I try to draw in a yellowish so you could remember this, And then as degenerations occurs, it's going to get smaller, and ultimately the degenerated form of this corpus luteum is called corpus albicans. It kind of looks like a white body, That's what it looks like, alright? And obviously after that, your menses happens. And this, this menses usually happens for for female, 3 to 5 days. That's usually the average of that, So this is something that, it looks like, alright, in a diagram, alright? And you should try drawing this so that you can have better understanding of this, alright? Now, let me talk about, if you decided to get, let's say, if you want to conceive, or if you decide to get pregnant, when is the best time to conceive, Let's talk about that. So look at this phase, in the menses phase, probably, conceive may not occur, And then even because up to 7 days it can go, it can go, alright? So, if you try around let's say 8 or 9 days, alright, let me write down here. So, basically, if we say that if you try around, let's say 8 or 9 days, let's write down here. Between, let's say 8 to 8 or let's say 8 to 9 days, let's write down here. 8 to 9 days. If you try to conceive, may be possible. Right? It may work, But the golden period of, if you want to conceive, it's usually the 10 to 14 days, Because in the 10 to 14 days, it is the best time to conceive, because the fertility can occur in that, fertility can occur in that time, because that's the time where you're making ova, right, basically. So, this is a good time for the female, can get pregnant, because also one thing also happens that, the estrogen comes here, and the estrogen comes to this cervix, and it makes this cervix thin and stringy, And you want that to happen. The reason why you want that to happen is that, so that way sperm is there, it can travel upward, That's what it can go upward. So this, on the presence of estrogen, this becomes thin and stringy, so it makes easier for the sperm to go upward, And then ultimately reaching into the ampulla regions. If this is not stringy or not thin, sperm cannot travel. For example, progesterone makes a cervical plug right here, right? So in the presence of progesterone, what is going to happen? The cervical plug will form and the sperm or any other substances cannot go move upward, okay? So conceive would not occur, okay? So that's sometimes that's something that you have to remember. So 10 to 14 days, that is like ovulation period times, okay? So that's the best time to conceive. And even like, 15 or 16 days, okay, or 16 days, it may work, okay? Possible. But after the 17 days, especially for this, 28 day cycle, female, after 70 days, maybe, if you try to conceive, you may not able to, okay? So that is something that you have to remember. So the golden time for if you want to conceive, it's 10 to 14 days. That's what we say. But 8 to 9 or even like 15 to 16 days, it may work, okay? So that's something that I wanted to quickly touch on. So if you decided to conceive, when to do it, okay? So guys, I think this is all I have for you guys. And as I said, this is a review of the female reproductive system. Also, because of my anatomy as a male, I cannot relate to the struggles that female go through every month. But through educations, I think we men can certainly understand the gravity of it and also recognize what female go through each month. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching my video, and please don't forget to subscribe, like, share the channel. Thank you.